Nafiadi Remo Wana Majake Chokulepa, Nandi Bonari Quatagwesu, Shavanga Bana, Pashai Shibo, Goba Fuma, Petinda Kulumbanya, Aliquata, Chiruma, Umanevo Equesu, Fevare of Sama Panica. When Bonokuala Matai, Temukalade, Nafiadi, Remo, Majake Chokulepa, Nandi Bonari Quatagwesu, Shavanga Banumba, Pasai Sibo, Goba Fuma, Petinda Kulumbanya, Aliquata, Chiruma, Umanevo Equesu, Fevare of Sama Panica. Monebo Equesu, Fevare of Sama Panica, Nefumishan Shaftika, Ramwewa Eva Kalamba, Quava Shirisha Kumurundo, Ivanwasa Bombe Ashtem, Moshi, Shirisha Kabangulu, Nivangulu, Kabangulu. Nefumishan Shaftika, Ramwewa Eva Kalamba, Quava Shirisha Kumurundo. Nivanwasa Bombe Ashtem, Moshi, Shirisha Kabangulu, Nivangulu, Kabangulu. Kamamana Vasongola Menu, Renava Quabonitambi, Mamana Vasongola Menu, Renava Quabonitambi, Mamana Vapolo Topumenso, Navodene Quabonitambi, Mamana Vapolo Topumenso, Navodene Quabonitambi, Mamane Mississia Pemu, Renava Quabonitambi, Mamane Mississia Pemu, Renava Quabonitambi, Namuvatika Wile Kisungu. Mukalale mwena tebunyabo, Namu Bapika Wile Kisungu, Mukalale mwena tebunyabo, Alakumbo Nebo Equesu, Fevare of Sama Panica. Nombano Mulene Nicoa, Equisivation Aikala, Nombano Mulene Nicoa, Equisivation Aikala, Batatane Bubena Mumba, Batani Nexikuari, Pamayo Bena Balumbu, Nanguntilia Bena Casim, Nombo Putoncanentandi, Nemuine, Nepina Casim, Umumba Nebo Equesu, Fevare of Sama Panica. Nombano Mikoa, Equisivation Aikala, Nombano Mikoa, Equisivation Aikala, Patata de Bubena Mumba, Batani Nexikuari, Pamayo Bena Balumbu, Nanguntilia Bena Casim, Nombo Puponcanentandi, Nemuine, Nepina Casim, Umanevo Equesu, Fevare of Sama Panica.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching us this evening. Welcome to another installment, the second installment of Thursday Night Motivation with Frank Saliki on TV Bakwetu. Welcome all our viewers and welcome to our new viewers as well. And as usual, don't forget, always get some stars if you can to support us. We're aiming to bring different aspects to TV Bakwetu, and this is just another element that we are going to be bringing. We're going to be bringing to you. So on Thursday at 21 hours Zambian time, it's always going to be motivation, the Thursday night motivation with Frank Saliki. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. And for me, I always think about different aspects of how can I serve people? How can I help educate people in various ways? And that is the reason why I became a motivational speaker. And that's the reason I became an author, because I wanted to educate, I wanted to share what I've learned in my young life so far and what I keep learning. And it's important we do this in the world that we're living in today. And today I'm going to tackle a subject that is very important. And for me, it's something that has lived with me, that's very close to my heart, and I always share this wherever I am. So the topic this evening is your biography does not determine your future. So many people could be doing so many great things in their lives. They've not even realized their true potential. They've not even realized what they can really do with their lives. Why? Because of something that happened many years ago. And I understand that and I get that. Last week, I shared with you how my year one teacher encouraged everybody to sing this song. Frank Saliki is a fool. Frank Saliki is Mr. Bean. I remember my middle name is Chama, so they used to sing Chama Saliki Chipuva, Chama Saliki Mr. Bean. And those things, those words stayed with me for so long that somebody had defined what I was, that it mirrored my experiences. The first 2 years of school, I really struggled. But I had a year in year three, in grade three, when I did so well. Then in grade four and grade five, I struggled again. And then in grade six, I did so well. In grade six, my mom put me in a class. But at that time, government schools introduced what they called special classes. So you get extra lessons like computer lessons or French lessons. And she put me into that class. And I did really, really well. But because of that earlier experience, it mirrored everything that I achieved. Because even though I achieved so many great things, I was still carrying that inferiority complex. I was still carrying that feeling that I was not good enough. So no matter what I achieved, no matter what I did, there was always that thing in me that said I was not good enough. And that really took away from any great achievement that I had. My friends, there's so many people because of what people say, and we carry those words in our hearts wherever we go. We carry those words in our minds. It is true what the late great Zig Ziglar always used to say in his speeches. We are where we are and we're who we are because of what has gone into our minds. Now, this is what I want to this is very important thing that I want to explain to you. So we run two very important aspects run our lives. We've got the conscious mind and we've got the subconscious mind. The conscious mind analyzes everything that is going on right now. If you're watching the president speak, if you're watching anyone speak, you analyze and you're doing it. You're probably doing it right now. You're probably analyzing. You're probably looking at me thinking, I don't like the way you speak, or you're looking at me going, I like your tie, or whatever. You're analyzing something, and you're always going to see that is conscious. The second element of our minds is a subconscious mind. Here's the thing: that is not the analytical mind. It does not analyze anything. It does not look at anything in an analytical way. Now, unfortunately for us, the subconscious mind is a one element, is the strongest element of the two, the element that runs our mind. So if we experience something, so for example, if I'm going for a job interview, and then I look back to the time when I was growing up, and then I was speaking in front of people and they laughed at me, I know that thought came to my mind. It's not the subconscious mind is not going to analyze and say, let's analyze this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this objectively. No, it's going to say, look, you failed. Don't do that. They're going to laugh at you. So then you don't attempt. Because you're operating on the subconscious level, you are operating on your memory. Now, if your past wasn't great, operating on your memory tells you what? Tells you you're not good enough. Operating on your memory tells you you can never achieve it. Operating on a memory doesn't tell you something that is very important. That you might have failed in the past because you did not know it. As somebody said to me, if I knew better, I would do better. But because so many people are operating on a subconscious level, they never analyze their lives. They never analyze what they can do. They look at their lives and they say, I can't do it. And here is a childhood memory to remind me that I could not do it. Here is a memory from when I was a teenager to remind me that I could not do it. And people use that as proof. When I sit down with people, when we start talking about their lives, they always talk about that one moment when they realized they could not do anything. And I always tell them, do you understand that you were young? Do you understand that at that point you do not know enough to to succeed or to make a better decision. Now you know enough to make a better decision. Now you know enough to make better judgment. So many people have not even scratched the surface of what they're capable of because of something that so many people do. And it's a thing that we do with parents. Parents do it all the time. Parents do it without even realizing it. Remember when we're young, parents might say something like, oh, have you seen your friends has passed number 1 and you've passed number 17? Those little things. Have you seen what your friend does? Have you seen what your friend does this and the other, but your brother does this and the other? And there's that comparisons that parents give sometimes that creates an inferior complex. I think in a lot of times parents think, you know what, if I show them what the other friends are doing, then it's going to make them feel, it's going to get them to do things. But actually, when you try and compare your children or make them feel inferior to their friends, it's not going to bring about the change that you desire. And in the long term, it's not going to be beneficial for the growth of that child. Because all of a sudden, that child is going to go from just being a child to start thinking, I'm not as good as my friend. And that sticks. That sticks in everything that we do. What about when children are not good at something? This is a thing that was passed around. I've heard it passed around a lot. You got 2 feet, you got this and that. Our children are never going to be good at everything. If your child is not good at football, well, maybe try another sport. If they're not good at sport, try something else. Maybe take them to drama. Maybe take them to a singing lesson or something. They're going to find something that is good. But what is important is we do not say your friend, your neighbor is better than you. We have to create our own lives, and our children have to always create our own lives have to have their own path. They have to have their own path and their own destiny. And for you, my friends, you've got your own path, you've got your own destiny. Focusing on the past is never going to change anything. Focusing on what other people say is never ever going to change anything. Do you know, until a few years ago, I had so much anger when I thought of my grade 1 teacher. I always used to think, why did she treat me that way? But then what happens is I was focusing so much on the past. And there are very 3 important elements you have to understand here. I call them focus, feel, act. FFA, I call them in my motivational talks. Now, let me explain these 2 things. Focus. When you focus on something so much, you know what you're going to do? You're going to feel. So, for example, if I focus so much on what my year 1 teacher said, what am I going to feel? I'm going to feel anger. I might feel sad. I might feel depressed because of my focus. And what action am I going to take? It's not going to be an empowering action, because then I'm going to be filled with this feeling of being not good enough, not being up to the task. And I'm not going to take the action that I need to take to change my life. So I'm focusing on something. Because I've focused on that something so much, I feel it. And because I feel it, that's the feeling that I have is going to determine the action that I'm going to take. So, my friends, when we look at our lives, in everything that we do, we have to understand, am I doing something that is going to be empowering? Is this feeling that I have going to empower me, or is going to disempower me? Because no matter the feeling that we have about the past, to the subconscious mind, that feeling is so real. It's happening right now. It might have happened 15, 20 years ago, but the more you focus in, it happens right now. And here's the thing, because it's happened so long ago, the subconscious mind cannot even remember exactly what happens, and it adds more detail. So you have an experience in the past, you focus in it so much, it creates It creates details that never existed. I think anybody who's involved in law will tell you this, that when they have witnesses, one of the things that they're really conscious about is the fact that the witness might actually add more details to that experience. And when we're focusing on our past, we add more details to that experience, and that experience becomes bigger than it actually was, because we are focusing on so much. So how do I transform my life, Frank? I've been focusing on my past. I've been focusing so much of what has happened, and it really pains me. I don't want to underplay your pain. And some people have gone through terrible, terrible things. But I want to share this. I want to share this with you. A friend of mine had a very, very terrible experience. She was terribly abused in childhood. Today, she's very successful. And if we get a time, I will ask her to probably come and do Thursday night with me. So I spoke with her. I spoke with her about it. And she said, you know what, my life was so bad. And every time on everything that I did, I tried to tell everybody else what I experienced. But it never empowered me. It never gave me joy. And people sat around and they felt sorry for me. And it was not until the day that I said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I am going to transform my life. And she focused on, what can I do to change my life right now? What can I do to change my life right now? As I said in the title, your biography does not determine your future. Your biography does not determine your destiny. The actions you take today will define your destiny. Listen, our minds might have been fed with the negatives, but we can feed our minds. We are where we are and we're who we are because of what has gone into our minds. But we can change where we are and what we are by changing what goes into our minds. We can start feeding our mind with the good, the pure, and the powerful. We can start experiencing new things. We can start experiencing new things. We can start exploring to see what is available for us. Me being bullied most of my school life, one thing that I had is I always wanted friends. And because I always wanted friends, what did I do? I always gave more. I always went far and beyond to be a friend. If you called me at 3 o'clock in the morning to say, come to my house, I need your help, you know what? I would not have said, I'll come at 8 o'clock. I would have got up and I would have gone. It wasn't until 3 years ago when I realized I'm giving way too much. I'm giving way too much because I was overcompensating for my past, because I wanted to keep friends, because my childhood in school was a bit lonely. My time at boarding school was a bit lonely. So then I was overcompensating because I was afraid of that loneliness. So instead of being very authentic in what I did, instead of saying to my friends, these are the things that I want from my friends and these are the things I require from my friends, I was giving a lot more of myself. There wasn't time for me. I had time for everyone, but not time for me. Why? Because I was operating in the past. I was looking at the times I was lonely in the past. I was looking at the times I did not have friends. And this was subconsciously ingrained in me. If I want to keep friends, I have to give more. And this is the reason why some people do things that do not inspire them. Some things you question them. Why would you do that? Why would you give away all your money? Because you want to keep them. I'll give you an example. It was 2003. I was at Ron Antelope High School in Luansha. And my mom gave me money for, my mom gave me at the time is 500 kwacha, reverse kwacha, and rebest, the odd denominations. Give me 500 kwacha. And we had these women who used to come in, they used to sell cassava. Now, I wanted friends so much at the time. When it came, we went to buy cassava. It was me and 5 others. So I could have bought 5 pieces of cassava. Do you know what I did? I bought 5 pieces of cassava for everyone. Everybody had cassava. I went hungry. Why? Because I want friendship and I was going to do everything it takes to have that friendship. And 3 years ago, I realized I still have that attitude in giving more. Maybe this time I was not giving money or giving away all my food. I was giving my time. I was doing everything I could do in my power to get that recognition, to get that friendship, to get that love. Because inside of me, in everything that I was doing, there was still a 6-year-old Frank Saliki who was crying out for love. Because I was not operating in the present, I was operating in the past. And when you're operating in the past, it distorts your experience because you're living today, you're doing things for today, but your mind is in the past. So you can't see what is in front of you. You can't see what is in front of you. Now, I'm gonna this is very important in what we do. Okay. The meaning, the experience, the meaning you give an experience is more important than experience itself. I'll say that again. The meaning you give an experience is more important than experience itself. Why? If I experience something, so let's say I talk about bullying in school. So if I go back and I experience that bullying and I go back and the meaning is, you know what, those people were horrible, right? It doesn't affect me so much. Because all of a sudden I'm saying the only reason that I was bullied is because those kids were mean and horrible. Now, if I turn that around, I was bullied because I'm useless. I was bullied because of that and the other. I was bullied. I'm pointing everything at me. Then that becomes very important. That then holds us back because then what we're trying to do is we're trying to find faults in ourselves. And focusing on the past, what we're doing is we're constantly finding faults in what we have done. And when we're constantly finding faults in what we're doing, we're never going to explore to discover what we can do. Why would you explore something that has got a lot of faults in it? If you think you're not good enough, why would you explore something? If you think you can't take your life to the next level, why can you explore something? Why would you explore something that you don't think is good enough? Listen, if I pick up a book and say that I don't like that book, I'm not going to be reading it. If you think you're not good enough, as Confucius said many years ago, he who thinks he can and he who thinks he can't are both usually right. Because if you think you can, you're going to go and do it. If you think you can't, you're not going to go and do it. No human being wakes up every day and say, I'm going to do something. And you know what? I know I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. It doesn't happen. We all go, we do the things that we think we can do. We all do the things that we think we can do. Here's the thing, my friends. God gave us a talent. God gave us abilities. And for so many of us, those abilities have gone unutilized, unseen, unused. Because at one point in our lives, we were told we're not good enough. At one point in our lives, somebody said something negative about you. At one point in our life, somebody said you can never make it happen. At one point in our lives, somebody has told us that other people can do it, but not people like you. And we have never really explored our talent. We never really explored what we can do. Our past experiences have distorted what we can truly achieve. When I was in grade 5, we are writing our end of term test. Because I was picked on so much, I couldn't say to my teacher I was struggling to see the board. And I remember this one time when we were writing end of test, and I was sat in a position where I could not see what was on the board. And and what I did that day, and what I did throughout the 5 days we were writing those tests, I literally just sat there and wrote A, C, B, A, D, and I passed number 17 somehow. But I did not see it. And that also filtered, distorted my own abilities. That I did not look back and say I wrote that test without seeing what I was writing. All I remembered was I did not pass the test. And that stayed and said, you failed, you did not pass the test. It distorted my experience. I gave it a different meaning, a meaning that was never empowering to me, a meaning that was never going to change my life. My friends, so often I thought I was never going to be good enough. So often I thought I can never achieve anything special. I was a kid who began this life journey very difficult in a point where I began my life journey, and before I got started, people started telling me I wasn't good enough. And I truly believed that. That's the most important thing. I truly believed for so long that I was never good enough. My friends, today I stand here with an understanding that whatever happened in the past, I can never change them. But the action that I take today and the action that I take each and every day will define the man that I'm going to become. That the past will never define me. That I can never change. The past can never define you. You can transform your life. We can transform our lives by taking new actions. Insanity is doing the exact same things and expecting a different outcome. But the first step, you have to realize that there's something special about you. You are designed for accomplishment, you are engineered for success, and you are endowed with a seed of greatness. You have to understand that you can never change tomorrow. You can never change yesterday, but you can change tomorrow by taking different actions today. One thing that you have to understand, you have to have that encouragement that tomorrow is going to be a better day. It was true, as Dr. John Maxwell put it. If there is power in the present, if there is hope in the future, there is going to be power in the present. And my friends, not everybody will sing. No, but not everyone will sing your praises. Not everybody will say, go and do the things that you wanted to do. In 2017, in 2007, I stood there having failed my high school exams. 5 minutes later, I had a dream to go to university. 10 years later, exactly 10 years to the day I found out I failed my high school exams, my book, Arise and Shine, was published. I am an ordinary man. I am an ordinary human being who decided one day I am going to explore my talents. I'm going to use my God-given talents and find out what I can do. That I'm going to wake up every day and do the very best that I can. Because in 2007, on that very depressing and miserable day, something was born. And I realized that as much as I dream, so can I be. Too many people have lost the ability to dream. Too many people have lost the ability to dream. Why? Because they have been beaten up by the harsh realities of life. I want to leave this with you. And I always share this, and for me, it's a great reminder. It was said by the late Dr. Miles Monroe. When asked the question, where is the richest place on earth? Dr. Miles Monroe said, the richest place on earth is not the gold and diamond mines in South Africa or the oil in the Middle East. The richest place on earth is a graveyard, because there you find the music and songs never sung, books never written, talents, potential never realized. And I want you to understand, in everything that you do, it's not everyone who's going to cheer you on. But all that you do, make sure you wake up every single day knowing you've done the best that you can. You have achieved the best that you can in this life. You've explored and discovered your true potential. Remember, in everything that you do, your biography does not determine your destiny. As much as you dream, so can you be. Thank you for joining me this evening. I hope you've got something that is going to help you along on your way. In this world we live in today, there's so much negativity. There are very few champions who say, I'm going to cheer on the underdogs. I'm going to cheer on those people who are suffering at the moment. I want to leave something with you, and this I wrote in my book, and I think it's very important in everything that we do, when we look at working on our dreams, when we look at our lives, when we look at this world. So many people are giving up, and I always like to share something that gives them. And I want to leave this one with you today. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. You do well when people will accuse you of ulterior motives. Do well anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies, but succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honest and frankness may make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest of men with the smallest of ideas. Think big anyway. People favor underdog but follow only top dogs. Fight for the few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed. Build anyway. Some people really do need help, but they will attack you if you do. Help them anyway. Give the world the best that you have, and you will get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best that you have anyway. Believe in yourself and in your dreams, and know that you were born to win. If you believe that, nothing will stop you, and you will arise and shine. My friends, we are all given a gift, and what is important is we go and use that gift. That is it from me this evening on TV Bakwetu. Coming up at 2200 hours Zambian time, we've got Dr. Elias Munsha with the wondrous Sister D. We had St. Michael's the other day. We got Sister D coming on today. So if you are able to join us for that, and also don't forget, buy some stars to also support us, to keep us coming out, to bring you all the messages, to bring you to bring you all the aspects that we bring you on TV Bakwetu. And somebody asked if every Thursday at 2100 hours it will be motivational. Yes, so every Thursday at 2100 hours I will be a motivational slot with me, Frank Saliki, and hoping to bring in some other people as well to come and inspire our people in everything that we do. So that is it for me. Remember, you were designed for accomplishment, you were engineered for success, and you were endowed with a seed of greatness. This has been Frank Saliki, and it's bye-bye from me.